Good evening, everybody. It's Dr. Mark Waller, and this is Mastering Thought, the live stream. And I've got some special announcements tonight as we get started. Um, Number one, if you would like to join us live, please contact me at mark@masteringthought.com. That's my email. And or put a comment below and I will contact you. But we'd love to have you on. The purpose of the live stream on Thursday night at 6:15 is to teach people moment mindfulness, which is the metacognitive practice we do here that results in an awakening and a disidentification from the voice in your head. Now, the other thing I want to announce is we are making a radical change to the channel. Every week we've been doing a long form video, and there's tons of them on the channel you can watch. We're going to stop doing that. We're going to start doing a live stream every Monday at noon. And the live stream is going to be specifically for couples and relationships. That doesn't mean you have to be a couple to participate, but the orientation of the information is going to be centered around my lion unicorn model of relationships. So that's going to be Monday at noon. And if you want to appear on that with us on the inaugural broadcast, please get in touch with me if you want to come on, talk about relationship dynamics, issues you've had, answers to your questions. We'd love to have you. So reach out to me. That will be premiere Monday at noon Pacific time. And so with me tonight, we've got Simon down in the bottom right, and we have Paul in the top right, and we have a big blank space right in the middle. By the way, can you see you probably can't see my cursor, can you? Can you see my cursor? No. Okay, so this big black space below me, that is for your comments. And so as we go through this tonight, please ask questions or make comments, and they will appear in that black space down there, and we'll get a real sharp view of them, and we will address everything that comes up. So, with that preliminary announcement, let's start with Paul. What's your week been like, Paul, and how are you doing with the practice?
I'm good, and I have had some success with it.
Okay.
I think my problems are a little bit different than Simon's as far as the way he thinks and I think, even though there are a lot of similarities.
Right.
I tend to focus on rumination of the past. I'm not really like a planner of the future.
Okay.
Today, actually, I was kind of having a spiral a little bit where I have like a negative loop. It's the continuous loop that I've had for years. And I kind of was able to break out of it today. And my mood was able to shift. And I'm still in that mood right now where I was able to kind of disconnect a little bit and be more in myself as I am, not necessarily the thoughts that I had surrounding that.
Okay. Oh, that's marvelous. That's good to hear. And Simon, do you want to give us a real quick thumbnail? And then I want to go over moment mindfulness and what we're actually talking about here. Go ahead.
A thumbnail?
A thumbnail about what your week has been like.
Oh, just two words come to mind after overanalysis about all the thoughts in my head, and that is like resentment and grudges. I think all my negative thoughts are around resentment and grudges.
Wow.
And I'm still trying to fight like the past and how I'm going to attack these things.
Okay.
Big time. Yeah, resentments and just people that I've hold like grudges against, how I'm going to attack, what I'm going to do.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, I can't let go.
Okay, I hear you. So tonight we're talking about moment mindfulness, which is the practice we do on this channel. And this is what it looks like. You just sit with your eyes open and you wait for the next everyday thought. What's an everyday thought? Oh, I wonder if we're going to have ham on Sunday, or it's a beautiful day today, I want to get outside. All you do is notice the fact that you're thinking, and the instant you notice that you're thinking, you will find that the mere fact of observing a thought makes it go away. And then you're done. That's it. Now, what you're doing when you do this exercise is you're shifting to a different part of your brain and you're rewiring your experience of observing a thought, and it changes your relationship to the voice in your head. So you don't analyze the thought, you don't talk back to the thought, you don't judge the thought, we don't care where the thought came from. This is a very simple exercise. All you're doing is standing back and just noticing the fact that you're thinking. It's a lot like just noticing the fact that you've had lunch. You know, if I asked you, did you have lunch? And you said yes. And if I asked you, do you feel full from lunch? You would observe your stomach and immediately be able to say, yeah, I'm full, or I'm not full, I'd want more food. We're literally just, observing our own mental activity to see that it's there. No judgment, no fixing, no better thoughts, no stopping thoughts. We're not doing anything like that. All we're doing is practicing being the observer of the function of thought. Okay, now if you have any questions on that, put them in the comments. We love your comments. Last week we got some amazing comments. And I've got my evil eye on another monitor over here, and the comments will come up, and we'll bring them up on the black space below me, and we'll talk about them. So, Paul, tell me, when you do the practice, what is your experience of it specifically?
Well, last live stream, you mentioned something about, if you were deaf, what would your inner monologue be? And that one, I don't know if that was what the intention was, but that kind of spoke to me very deeply. So for the last week, I've been trying to kind of imagine what it would be like if I didn't have that inner dialogue, that language. And I recognize that I still have feelings. But that's separate from the thinking, the analyzing, and the language you apply to those specific emotions. So I wasn't trying to fight the emotions. I was just trying to feel them authentically without identifying them with language.
Okay.
And that seemed to kind of help.
So remember, we're only doing moment mindfulness on simple, easy, everyday thoughts. So we're trying to take the emotional component out of the process. And the reason we're trying to do that, as I said last week, is because when there is an emotion, that means fight or flight has been triggered.
Okay.
And at that point, the entire brain is basically intent on survival. And so you're not going to be able to practice being the observer when your brain is busy trying to help you survive.
Okay. I was able to, notice some thoughts. Like I walked by somebody yesterday and I had like a thought about them. And I kind of caught myself thinking about that. And I was just like, it was very deliberate and simple, but I noticed it a lot more. And one distinction that I've been able to make is but between the good and the bad, or the simple and the heavy, it's all the same thinking mechanism.
Yes. That's an excellent observation. Now, let me tell you why that's so important, because this is one of the reasons why we're practicing on small thoughts, because once you disidentify from that mechanism, it is the same mechanism for all thoughts, so you don't then graduate to the more difficult thoughts. It instantly changes your relationship to all thoughts.
Yes.
And so you're absolutely right on target. That's a really sharp observation that you just made there.
That came to me through, this week, trying to, while I was at work, I was having a lot of negative thoughts, and I just, kept working. And luckily, like, I work with my hands, so it gives me something to kind of, like, my body is operating outside of my mind, even though my mind is active.
Right.
So that kind of helps too, because I'm not just sitting and ruminating. I'm still doing my job and still thinking at the same time, but it's not affecting what I'm actually doing.
Interesting. So you've used the term rumination twice. I just want to say that we just recorded, Rochelle Lane and I just recorded an episode. It's our last long form video that we're going to record for quite a while. That will be coming out on Rumination on Saturday morning.
Okay,
So
great.
you might be interested in tuning in on that. So Simon, what's your reaction when you listen to Paul describe his experience?
I immediately know exactly what he's talking about because I could be working on something, and regardless of whatever's happening in my head, I could still have that like game face. I'm on a recording here with you guys now. It's game time, right? It's game face. But everything prior to this moment has been nothing but like chaos and like um, it's like I want there to be a soliloquy in my head where I only speak the thoughts that I want to speak, but it turns into a monologue, an argument, and something else. So it's never alone time. I'm trying to be alone in my head with the
Uh-huh.
thoughts that I want, but it turns into a monologue and then argument and then more factors build on more factors. But when it comes to like act and respond or take a phone call, I'm a completely different person. Completely. I could push everything aside and just like game time, game time. This is game time with you guys right now.
Uh-huh.
Nothing that happened an hour ago matters. I could push all of it aside and all the monologues and judgments and all of that. Like, it's a different like level of consciousness that I'm using to like interact with you guys.
Well, that's good for us, it sounds like.
It is good for you. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, the like let's say the hour drive that it took to get home to have this conversation, I was a completely different person arguing about things from 6 years ago, just in my
Uh-huh.
head. I don't
Okay.
know. And then I'm going to catch myself like I'm the observer of these thoughts. I'm the one who's just going to let these thoughts go. I'm just going to observe them without judgment. And it's like a whole nother level of fakeness. I can't fake it because when I want to think to myself, man, I need to get it my way. And it's like just more ego atop more ego. I don't know.
Well, the one thing I admire about you, Simon, is you're caught in this web, but you know exactly what it is. You know.
Right. You made that beautiful AI video that I watched. I was like, and I thought to myself, I'm watching the video. This other negative voice is also watching the video. Everyone in my head saw that beautiful video. So who's trying to lie to who? Who's being a compulsive liar here and not joining the program to like awaken? Like, what
Uh-huh.
the hell's going on here? Like, why am I still playing this game when we all watched that beautiful video that you just made about some
That's
guy out there that
interesting.
had a biking accident in Venice Beach?
Let me ask you both a question. A few weeks ago, I developed a series of exercises for overthinkers. Have I shared those with either one of you? I think I sent them to you, Simon. Did I not?
No, no, no.
Okay. So if you in the if you're watching the recording of this, in the description there's going to be two quizzes. One is the Analyzer Explorer quiz, and the other one is the Lion Unicorn quiz. If you click on the Analyzer Explorer quiz, it will take you through a series of questions to find out if you're an analyzer or not.
Oh, I
Um,
haven't done that.
yeah, but what I did was I developed a series of 4 exercises for analyzers, and they're really, I gotta say this, they're clever. I hit on something. And I've had 2 analyzers in my therapy practice use the exercises, and they both came back to me with kind of unexpectedly positive results doing it. And so, remind me, and if you're listening to this, if you want a copy of those exercises, let me know in the comments below. Give me your email, and I will forward those to you. And I only want you to do the exercises once a day. You just go through them, do the exercise, and then forget about it and see what happens. But I think I've come up with something I'm very interested to have analyzers give this a try. So if you click on the link and you find out through the quiz that you're an analyzer, get in touch with me and I will send you a copy of this. And you can try these exercises to see if it helps you become more and more of the observer. And Simon, I'm surprised I haven't sent them to you, for instance. Paul, I haven't sent them to you, have I?
No.
Okay. So
I am interested though.
yeah, let me do that, and I'll be really interested to see what your experience of it is, because I have this intuitive sense that I stumbled upon something that's um, might be effective, and I'm kind of excited about it. So if I can get some feedback from some people, but I will send it to you right away. It's called the audit. I don't know where I came up with that name, but anyway, it's got 4 exercises listed on it, and you can do those and give me some feedback. If you're listening to the recording of this and you get this and you go through it, come back to the video and leave some comments and tell me what your experience of it was. Also, if you're listening live right now and you've got a question or a comment about this, put them in the comments and we'll put them up so we can all discuss it. So, Simon, what is your experience so far? I mean, you really understand what we're doing here. Do you feel any movement at all toward, being able to just step back and observe your mental activity without engaging?
I,
That sounds.
I, I, I can't drop it. No, I can't drop it. I can't let it go. I found these videos about how like trauma might be trapped in our tissue, and these guys have like meridian points. They want us to tap and repeat these like mantras about where the meridian points might be that are trapping these negative emotions,
Uh-huh.
and play more mobile games. And I was like, man, what am I going to be, my own like acupuncturist? Try to figure out my own meridian points and why these traumatic arguments or like fights are trapped in my skin and be the observer. I'm so lost in how I can't seem to push the right buttons, but I feel like the right buttons might exist out there. And if I just become the observer, I feel like a sitting duck, just a sitting duck
It's
getting
too
berated.
vulnerable.
Yeah, too vulnerable, just being berated by negative thoughts and not retaliating. I can't wait to retaliate. But as soon as I try to, I look like the psychotic guy who's a complete neurotic fighting his own thoughts. And I realize they're just thoughts. And I realize the guy that's fighting them is, again, just thoughts. I can't stop it and find peace. I don't know where to land with my awareness. I don't know where to take it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
But when it
think you
comes to
have an.
game time, I'm completely okay. Hello, officer. How are you doing? Like this, I could play. I could play. The guy on stage very well. I could play the actor who's completely okay, but just let me be, and it's a complete, just chaos back there. Behind the eyes, it's complete chaos.
Yeah, so Paul, your experience is considerably different than that, isn't it?
You know what? Yes. And, I'd like to say too, like a concept came up to me recently. Like, I think me and Simon have a similar thing where we will get temporary relief studying something different, like meridians or another video or another plan or another thing. And in the moment, it works. Like when I'm talking to you guys right now, I'm good. But then
Yeah.
when left to my own devices, so I'm kind of you're at that middle point where you're you kind of have a relief button, but it doesn't fully get you out of it. And
Uh,
I had this concept that came in that said it was about remission with OCD, and the concept that was like, oh, you can have remission from this. Like there can be a solution, and you have to kind of conceptualize that there's a way out, that there is a cure for it, there
uh,
is a way to be different. But we've experienced this for so long, it's so much a part of who we are, it's hard for us to even believe that that is possible because we've identified with it so much. So I was
True.
able to kind of go like, do you really want to get better, or do you want to keep remedying it with band-aids
Right.
consistently? And you would have to have kind of an identity shift of like, I want to be the person beyond the band-aid. I want to be the person that is in remission from this.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that was kind of powerful too, because it's like, if you don't believe that there's a way out, you're just going to continue to go to therapy. You're going to continue to look for little things to kind of get you out of it. And you'd have to go, no, I want to be that person where I'm no longer experiencing this the same way. And that was kind of a huge shift for me. And like I said, I see glimpses of it working. Like today, I was in a downward spiral today, and I am not now. And I haven't been for the last 6 hours. I've been feeling really good.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about resentment. And, I harbor a lot of resentment towards my dad. And I just had this shift earlier today, and I feel completely different. Like I am in a state of clarity of it without trying or doing anything. And it might be because I was knowing I was going to be here later into
Okay.
this live stream. I was kind of getting into that mindset. So my concern is like, well, I feel like the old Paul is going to come back. Like I'll go to sleep and wake up, and it'll kick back up because that mechanism is so strong. But when I have these moments of this clarity, of these extended durations where I kind of feel like I'm my authentic self, um, I try to hold on. I don't want to say hold on to it, but I try to recognize that as like a step forward. And I do feel like the letting go is the hardest part.
Right. Well, let me just
Because
say
it's been
one
so
thing
much
about
for so long.
what you said about OCI. I just want to talk about this for a second. It's become very obvious to me, and OCD is included in this. All behavior is driven by emotion. And so, what emotion do you think is driving this, mental struggle?
Well, what we talked about last time was fear,
Uh
um,
huh.
and I would say anger as well. Jealousy, resentment. Um, you know,
Yeah, but I got to tell
entitlement.
you,
I know that's
OCD is strictly fear. OCD is driven by anxiety. And the purpose of the compulsive behavior is to make the anxiety go away.
it looks like lagging out here.
What's that? Paul, did we lose you?
Yeah, no, it looks like I'm back. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
were
was
at
saying
OCD is strictly
OCD is strictly a defense against anxiety.
okay.
So, here's two things. I mean, if you do, first of all, do you both believe me when I say that the overthinking is driven by an emotion?
Yes.
Or could it be that the fear, you think that emotion is fear, but could it be that we're not letting go because we want to be a hero? Like, like a firefighter is in fear of the fire, but he's the hero who's willing to put up with it. Is it because we're stuck in our head and we want to become like a hero who's battled all these fires and battled all these arguments where we want to turn out to be a hero? And it's like, finally, like I've earned my heroship. I've earned my badge of honor. That's why I've
Okay,
dealt with the
but
most amount.
what defines a hero?
Like,
What?
psychotically speaking, someone who's battled the most thoughts, like the guy who's battled the most fires in his head.
No, no, no. What is the
So
definition of a hero?
It's
someone
zooming
with
out.
courage, extreme courage.
Okay, now we're onto something. So what would we need courage for? What perception would we have if we need courage?
Like battling a delusion or like this hall of mirrors and smoke. Like I've seen through the smoke and mirrors. Watch, I'll go back in my head in the smoke and mirrors game, and I will see through it. I will figure out what the final answer is.
Okay, but
Well, no one
you,
else.
you're analyzing this. I'm asking a simple question. I want to know, you know, what what does the hero have to face?
Faces fears, maybe just face. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
they,
can't.
they have to win the battle against life and death. Paul faded out. He's back joining us. There
Yeah,
you are. That's
yeah.
a little better picture.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure it was my net.
Yeah.
Maybe like these people that choose to go back to war. They do like one after another, and they choose to go back again and again. Where someone could just offer them a good life and just simple, like just visits to the park. You don't have to go and fight your battles. Don't go back to war. But they have this idea of like a hero in their head, perhaps like, and you're offering a simple way out. You're extending, a ladder. You're extending
Okay,
a
but
rope to get out of the dugout. And I just keep going back into the valley of
I'm asking you a simple question. What motivates the hero?
God. I don't know what the prize is. What motivates the hero? Recognition?
Okay, all right. There's one thing. And why would
Mm,
they go back? Why would they go back? What would motivate them to go back?
So many
Identity,
answers.
perhaps.
Go ahead,
Identity?
Paul.
Oh, I said identity, but the more that I listen to Simon and think about myself when you say it's emotion, it kind of seems like we're stuck in the emotional state like 24/7.
Yeah, right. So, what is the emotion?
Well, anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and Simon, everything you say is always language around fear. You're being attacked. You have to fight back. You have to retaliate. This is all fight or flight. It's all coming from the primitive part of the brain that thinks it's under attack. Okay, so in order for you to think you're under attack, what do you have to see?
Man, just a threat, some kind of
E-
threat.
Exactly. And when you see a threat, what is the emotion you experience?
Just, I guess, fear, and I
Right. And
fight towards it. I head towards the fear. It's almost like every time I think, it's backed by fear. Every thought inside is backed by fear, and I just keep running into it.
okay,
So every
but
time I speak up,
here's my point. For both of you, here's a little exercise to do. Every time you find yourself locked in your head, and even if you don't remember to do this until later on, do it anyway. Just ask yourself the question, how is that about fear? And then don't try to answer the question.
Hmm.
Because see,
yeah,
what is, in my opinion, and I spent a lot of time researching and studying this over the last week or so. In my opinion, what's happening is your defense, Simon, your defense is so good you don't know what the feeling is. Paul's defense is faulty because he every now and then gets he gets a dose of the fear, but you don't even feel the fear. As a matter of fact, I have had a lot of clients like you over the years that don't have feelings at all. Because they've defended against feelings so well that they don't even feel the feelings anymore. So there's two things I would do. And I know this you can do the meridian thing if you want, go to the shaman and whatever. But the two things I would do is, number one is, every time you notice that you're locked in your head like this, just ask yourself, how does this relate to fear? And then the next question I would ask is, what am I not seeing that I need to be seeing?
Mark, I've tried that. I've asked that question maybe hundreds of times in my head, but the location where I ask it also gets ridiculed. The answer I
So,
get back,
don't matter. You're not going to help yourself because you're going to get ridiculed by yourself.
it doesn't make sense. I think that's the problem. It's like
I
I'm
don't.
fighting the
I
delusion.
Nothing I do makes sense. That's what this whole channel is about. Is about convincing people to do something very simple that doesn't make sense to their ego,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so this is a different tool. All I'm saying is there is a door that won't open, and you just need to
right.
ask for the door to be open. You don't have the tools to do this.
Mark, just your voice specifically sounds like you're such a leader ahead of time, or like you've seen it happen, and it makes me want to follow your voice just based on pure trust.
Okay.
Like that's why I'm still here. I trust that you've seen it happen, and I'm trying to follow your voice. I'm trying to imagine what you've seen happen. If I could only follow those steps, I can't. I don't know.
Have you ever had the experience, either one of you, of not knowing something and then suddenly you see it? It was there all along, but you just couldn't see it, and all of a sudden, boom, there it was. And you understood something in a whole new and different way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to lay the groundwork for. So there's learning that's available here, but it's not going to come to you in the traditional way. The tools you have are not going to open this door and reveal this to you. So all I'm saying is let's speculate that this is about fear. Number one. So let's just ask the question to our non-conscious mind. Okay, I'm in my head ruminating. How is this about fear? And then just let it go and see what the answer is. And then the next question is, what am I supposed to see that I'm not seeing here? And you only do that if you're ready to surrender to something bigger than yourself to get you out of this. It's a challenge. I understand it's nonsensical, counterintuitive, call it what you will, but you are not the source of wisdom. And as soon as you realize that and ask to be shown, the door will open. And I've seen it hundreds of times. But we will not get ourselves out of the way to receive something new because we think we already know. And that's the biggest hurdle.
Right. It's like being
Paul, I
stuck
don't
in
want you.
quicksand. Yeah, like I know how to get
We,
out of quicksand. I know exactly what to do, but I realize I
yeah,
don't. I need your help to get out of
see,
quicksand.
I'm not asking you to get out of quicksand. I'm asking you to ask an open-ended question and then shut up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going
You
to
know,
get out of
I
quicksand or not. Go ahead, Paul.
I just asked myself those two questions while we were talking, and
Uh-huh.
my mind drew a blank. And I was
Okay.
actually kind of relieved by that because normally my thinking mind would come up with an answer, and it
Uh-huh.
would be one of the answers that I've already used before.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it's like I could tell other people these things and it makes sense to me explaining it to another person, but it's hard to do it on myself.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I understand the concept, but just viewing ourselves as another person is kind of the hurdle. And I do think it's simple. And what I'm seeing is the door. It is simple, and the door that you're not walking through is behind you, and you just need to do an about face, and it's right there. Like it's not far off in your field of view in front of you where you've been looking this whole time. This universe you've created all behind in front of you. Like this door's. This is just what's coming to my mind. Maybe it's just behind me, and I just have to shut it off and
Uh-huh.
just okay. I'm gonna go. And I think I have a lot of energy. Simon seems to have a lot of energy, and I think most people don't have a lot of energy to upkeep this kind of delusion.
Uh-huh.
So most people would get tired of this. And what I'm noticing as I get older is it's not so much the tools or the techniques. It's just I'm literally getting so fatigued from it that I'm just
Right.
like, I am getting tired. I'm tired. I don't even want to do this anymore. So I think we just have such high level of energy from our anxiety that we have this ability to keep going and going and going, when a lot of people would be like, oh, this isn't working, I'm just going to stop.
So welcome, Jet.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. It's always nice to hear from you. And she says she's reached a point where she can forgive herself for putting her suffering on hold while I try to watch the thoughts. That's really an amazing comment. Then she says, now they're thoughts, not my thoughts. Excellent, Jet. And let me ask you before we get back to the conversation, have you had the moment where the voice in your head speaks and you actually know in your gut that that is not you? Put that in the comments. I'd love to hear your answer to that. Hi, Daniel. It's good to see you. Anyway, let me ask you both a question. What is it that brings an alcoholic to finally go into recovery? What's the thing that happens to them that makes them finally
Well,
turn?
I can tell you from personal experience, I quit drinking because, part of my journey is like, I'm trying everything. I've tried everything. And I did quit drinking. And my response is I just got bored of it.
Uh-huh. That's not most people's experience. Most people hit rock bottom and they reach out and ask for help.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just got tired of it and got bored of it.
Okay. Well, that's the usual situation is somebody hits rock bottom. They wake up in an alley one night. I'm thinking about Mike Lindell, the Mike Pillow guy. He was not an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a cokehead. He wakes up in some alley in Mexico, and he reached out for help. It turned his life around. You guys haven't reached the point where you're ready to give up the struggle. You're not tired of it yet.
No.
So Dudley's saying they wake up that's right. When they finally reach the point where they know they can't do it themselves, they wake up. You might say more about that, Dudley. That's an interesting comment. But what I'm suggesting is why wait for that? Why not just ask an open-ended question? Is there something I'm not seeing here I need to see? Is that such an assault on your pride and your ego that you couldn't ask that question? Your ego's saying, oh, that's dumb. That's too simple. That won't work. I tried that when I went to the retreat 20 years ago, and, I bought the T-shirt, and the guy signed the book, and it didn't work. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, it's okay. That reminds me of something that I gathered along my way of the question of how do you know that? Questioning your thoughts of like when I go, oh, I'm not going to get a better job. And then being like, well, how do you know that?
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, well, I don't know. I can't answer that.
Yeah. I'm not talking about another tech. I'm not talking about another technique here. I'm talking about you have to force your ego aside and admit that you don't know in order to ask those questions.
I kind of feel that me and Simon are actively doing what you're talking about right now, and it's super obvious to you that we're continuing our game.
I just hope through it all that you guys still think I'm okay and I'm trying to help you because I want your approval.
Oh, there we go. No, for me, like I do want to say that it is it is helping, and the one thing that I'm struggling with is that one moment, because where it changes. For me, it doesn't seem to be one moment. It seems to be like moments of clarity and then back to default.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of sell this as a light bulb moment, but it doesn't happen that way for everybody. Sometimes it occurs over, a period of weeks, or sometimes it's so subtle they've experienced this massive shift they don't even realize they have. And then all of a sudden something happens and they realize for the last month they've been in a whole different consciousness and they didn't even realize it. So, but when you disidentify from the voice in your head, everything changes one way or the other. So all I'm suggesting, if you're willing, is I've got some exercises I'll send you. You can play with them. And then whenever this thing comes up, don't let your ego be disgusted. You know, just ask an open-ended question. Is there something for me to see here that I'm not seeing? And then let it go. But just display to the universe you're willing to have something bigger than your own ego give you an answer.
Yeah, I am trying to answer that right now. I almost want to ask you, so what do I do? But there is the no answer.
Well, I just told you what to do.
Yeah, leave it open ended. Yeah.
Yeah, see, there's nothing for you to do. This is the problem with moment mindfulness. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just asking you to observe the function of thought. Can you observe the function of thought?
Yes.
And keep your hands out of keep your fingers out of the mess. Keep your hands out of it.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to accomplish, there's no goal. You got to get your ego. There's no willpower needed. There's no discipline. You know, I
I've tried
lost.
enough.
Go ahead.
So I've tried enough things, and nothing changes. That's how I know tacking on another thing, like a meridian acupuncture thing. I'm like, well, that's not gonna work either. Like I quit
Right.
all the bad things, I do all the good things, and it hasn't changed. So why would I try some other thing? So
Exactly.
but this does seem to be working. And I had a thought yesterday that I recognized. I went to the coffee shop and there was a cute girl there, and I just thought, oh, that's a pretty girl. And I recognized that thought as not my own, because it did
Perfect.
seem like it was coming from somewhere else.
Well, it was your thought, but it wasn't you.
Exactly. Yeah. It sounded like something my brother would say, or somebody else.
Right. Right. And so that is the experience that happens. When you cross the threshold of disidentification, the voice in your head speaks and it doesn't sound like you anymore. It doesn't feel like you. There's no me feeling that goes with it. And then
Yeah, exactly. It was very distinct from
yes,
being attached to me. Like it was, like it wasn't. Yeah, it was like a dialogue. But I felt it. I felt it differently than I do when I'm normally ruminating about stuff. Where it's very, very meshed in me usually.
my question was, Jet, now that you've had this experience about, what were you saying? That there are thoughts, but not your thoughts. When the voice in your head speaks, does it still feel like you, or does it feel like something other than you? That's the question. So, Paul, let me ask you, when did that comment about the pretty girl happen? When did you actually experience that?
It was about 12 noon yesterday, going into the
Okay.
coffee shop before work.
Okay, that was the first glimpse of the awakening. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
feels like. Did it feel like you were outside of
Yeah,
yourself watching a thought?
it kind of felt like it was in a different part of my head, like
Okay.
in the tertiary, just like kind of like on the outside of it.
Okay. So that's the feeling that you get when you start disidentifying. It feels like it's other than you, that you're outside of yourself or it's outside of you, but there's this separation that happens. And that's the first moment that you are aware that this process is working. So I'd say that's the reason why
Yeah.
you feel better today.
It was a feeling too, and that's what's
Mm-hmm.
hard to conceptualize. It was a feeling that you can't intellectualize.
Right. So let's hold on for just a second and see if Jet answers the question before we wrap it up tonight. While we're doing it, and Simon, honest to God, I love you, man. You know,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, and I want you to know that this is I'm carrying the cross with you here. This is my mission. If I can somehow, be a part of your transformation, it's what I live for. Really, seriously. So two things. Number one, if you want to be live on the live stream, let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'll reach out to you. We'll have a little conversation. We'd love to have some more guests. The energy of this thing's incredible. The other thing is starting Monday at noon, we will be doing a weekly live stream oriented toward relationships. It'll be called Lions and Unicorns Live, Conscious Relationships. And so we would love to have you tune in there. If you subscribe and click the bell icon, you will be notified when that happens. And so, if you're taking a break for lunch, you can join us. If you'd like some one-on-one help, there is a link for a discovery call in the description below. Just click it, and that will alert me. You'll go into my schedule. You'll be able to make an appointment. We can get together on Zoom. Also, there will be 2 quizzes: the Analyzer Explorer quiz. I think you'll be fascinated, and the Lion Unicorn quiz. And it turns out I'm absolutely sure that analyzers are unicorns and explorers are lions, but I'm not 100% sure. That's part of my research that we're doing here. So I'm not sure we're going to get Jet's answer before we wrap up tonight. Anything you two guys want to say before we're done here?
Well, I am starting to see a difference in myself, and I appreciate what Simon's going through, because I can kind of see it, and I understand the resistance, and I would be happy to. I hope that I'm contributing in a way to kind of help myself and him and whoever's watching, figure this out while I'm figuring it out for myself, because I am having some success with this.
Well, I got to tell you that if somebody tuned in last week and watched you last week and then listened to you tonight, they are seeing the beginning of an awakening in you. It's very obvious that's happening. So that's what this is all about. Jet says, keep coming back. We'll come back next week and let's talk about it some more, Jet. You're always welcome. And thank you guys. And Simon, I love you, man.
Yeah.
We're going to do this.
Incredible.
So
this might be the last time we're having these long ones?
What's that?
This might be the last long form conversation?
No. No, we're going to do the live streams. I'm just not going to do the recordings.
Okay.
Okay, listen, here's what Sino says. Sino says, when I hear the thoughts in my head, I no longer believe they are me. Sino's been through the process of disidentification. I realize they are just thoughts. The moment I recognize that, I stop giving them power and begin to see things more clearly. Sino, I love you, man. Thank you for the endorsement of the work, and you are prime. You really are. You've gone through a gigantic transformation. All right, you guys, that's it for this Thursday night. And join us Monday at noon for our inaugural Lion and Unicorn live stream. And like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments, and we will see you next week. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.